Hi, it's Louise with Louise Make Art, and welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here, and I never say it enough how much I appreciate you joining me and taking the time out of your day to see what I'm up to hopefully to help me out and to also help you out, because I love to give tips and I love to give suggestions. Something I don't often cover, but is every bit important. It's like just part of the process is a level. If you're new and you don't have a level, you don't have to have something this big. You can have something very small. You want to make sure, especially the place where you're going to put your pieces down for bed, is level. This, where you're making your pieces, especially if it's something that's a long process, you really want to make sure it's level. But you definitely want to make sure it's level in all directions. And this is this is level. And what I've done here is I've stuck a little stir stick underneath just to make sure I've got it level. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be pretty close. But the coasters are pretty quick, so it's not like I'm spending a lot of time on here. Now, if you have something like a pearl pour, like some of those dump and pearl swirl things, where you let it sit for 45 minutes, you definitely want to have it level here, because when you come back after 45 minutes, it's going to be wampus. All right, so without any further ado, I'm going to get going. This is a palette I've done a while ago. Love this color palette. Had some of the paints, and I thought I would go for it. I'll cover that as I go. In the meantime, what I've got here is my Glidden. This has been my substitute multi-pro when I was going through my multi-pro fits. This is the Glidden that I use. This is what's called the pillow. I lay that down first. You don't have to cover the whole tile. You just want to get it a good coverage so that as you get your composition down, you have somewhere to go with it and you have enough to spread off when you spin it. All right, my colors. So this is some leftover pearl paint, which is primarily Golden's Iridescent Pearl, and then I added some Whitehaven to it. Here's my consistency. Whitehaven is from TLP. And I just did one. It's really pretty, but in my typical usual fashion, when I first start with a color, it's a little bit anemic in the beginning. So I'm going to put down a little more color in this one. This is my combination of TLP Zeus and Golden's Iridescent Quinacridone Nickelazzo Gold. This is my gold combination. 24 Karat by Deco Art and Iridescent Gold by Golden. This is my bronze. This is straight up Golden Iridescent Bronze. Take a look at the other one. You want to get a little more representation down here. And then this last color here is a combination of a color I've never used, which is TLP's Meteorite. And then I added some Lamp Black by Amsterdam to it. For me, I don't have a lot of great success with TLPs by themselves, except for Sea Glass. Sea Glass works well for me. So what I like to do is add a little bit of tube paints to it. Give it a little more pigment, a little more of a bolster in the color department. And that seems to work for me. And that works for me. Cell activator. This is my American Floetrol cell activator video 141, where I show in 8 minutes how I make it and the ingredients I use. And I do believe it works every bit as good as Australian. It's just a little bit different result. Titanium white. This is the oxide black. And here we go with the blow. Woo-wee! I think I have a little too much cell activator on this one, because look at that big black patch in the middle. but it's bouncing back nice. I'm going to give it a little motivation before I stretch out the pillow to the corners. So for the new folks, all I'm doing is blowing through the straw into the cell activator. Because it's thinner, it's going to spread out really easily, and it's going to allow the paints underneath to push through and form those cells. All right, I'm going to let things develop. Every blow is different. I've said that a time or two. Because I really do believe that every creation is different. Even if you're using the same paints over and over again. Depends how much you put down. Depends how long your paints have been sitting open. They get thicker. Things change. You get tired. You're not blowing the same. The way you hold your lips. One change in how you hold your lips makes a big difference. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into getting a successful blowout. And I do believe that you got to learn small and then grow from there. Actually, here's a little tidbit. I had TLP sitting on my shelf for months before I decided to use them. I think I was 2 years in to fluidart before I used a TLP mica powder for the first time ever. Because I come from the philosophy, and I do believe this, that you have to earn it. You got to learn the basics. You got to learn the basics before you expand out into other things. I mean, if I right away started with the TLPs, I would have had a big problem, because the trouble I was having with them, now I love the TLPs, but the trouble I was having with them as far as being very, like this right here, you see the black, it's very splattery looking, in my opinion. I like more of a cleaner color, that's just me. If I had seen that when I first started out, I wouldn't have known what to do. And I would have thought, oh, this is just wrong. And I would have been panicked over what to do to fix it. Now I know, I just add a little bit of tube paints to it, and that really does help. For me. Now, every time you hear some tips or some ideas from coming out of my mouth, it's from my experience. I've learned a lot from others, but I've also learned a lot from myself. And that just comes from experience. Now I'm going to cheat this over here a little bit this way, so I can get these guys off a little bit more. That'll help the centrifugal force push it out that direction a little more. And I still need to get a little help. I need a little more help. Let me give it a little blow. Because I like the way the rest of this is looking. I don't want to go too far with it. So if I can just get that corner off a little bit more, I think we'll call it done. Oh, just a little bit more. I'm just going to give it a little bit of weight in that direction. Spin it out. Hopefully this will do it. That's a fast spin, but I want it fast because I want it to have an effect. Whoa. Okay, that worked. Oh, wow, it's like a new coaster. Yeah. All right. I'm going to call that done. All right, everybody. Here she is. Look at the lacing and the cells on that. Oh my goodness. American Floetrol Cell Activator. Combined with a good blowout. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you're new here and you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell and all. Leave a comment and a thumbs up. and you'll get all my latest art tutorials. Plus I get back to everybody. If you're wondering where the resin is for the last fusion, I haven't done it. I've only gotten 20 responses, so I need 30 more to make it worth my while. It does take me some time to make these videos. I hope you guys can understand that. And truth be told, I actually spend a lot more time editing than I do actually creating. And just to point out, the first 2 fusion videos do cover some of the resining if you do want to see. But back to these coasters, these resin results were spectacular. I love the lacing and the cells on these guys. So stay tuned. I'm going to link my coasters playlist at the end here so you can see other colors and other combinations. And I think that's all for now. So until next time, everybody, take care.